Welcome inside Studio Drew for another KJUG Quarantunes with Brandon Lay. How are you, my man?
Good. I'm doing good. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, man, we had this butt tight moment very quickly where I could hear you, you could see me, but you couldn't hear me.
I know it. It's I'm glad we got that ironed out, man. You been doing
Yeah,
good?
I am fantastic. How about you?
Good. We've managed to stay healthy and to be honest, kind of taking advantage of this downtime, being at home. It's been nice.
Yeah, you guys have been really busy for the last couple of years. You get a little downtime like this, but now you guys see a little light at the end of the tunnel.
They're scheduling shows for the fall, and I hope we get to do those. I am itching to hit the road again, even though it has been a nice break. But I'm definitely finding ways to keep myself busy, but I do miss traveling with the band and stuff. So hopefully those dates will stand.
Yeah, you've been out doing some stuff. You did some Brantley stuff not long ago, and just been hitting the touring track, right?
Oh yeah, that's the reason really I moved to Nashville, is because I love the road. I love the part where the music actually meets the people in person. That's kind of what turns me on. And Brantley was nice enough to let me tag along on the Fired Up tour. And I think we had just gotten like over the halfway point, and all this stuff kicked in. So hopefully we'll get to finish that tour.
Is that tour your first big tour that you had gone on?
No, I was on the Trip Around the Sun tour with Kenny Chesney back in 2018. So that was like my first, big tour.
That's more of a ginormous tour with old Kenny Chesney, isn't
it? It was awesome.
Did you guys ever throw any shade at each other, the East Tennessee, West Tennessee type of stuff, or?
No, that's interesting you bring that up, though. No, we haven't, but I got a lot of smack. I could talk about that.
But once a ball, always a ball, right?
That's right. We're both balls, so there you go.
That's awesome, though. It's been great. I've kind of been eavesdropping on your social media and stalking you a little bit, and it's cool that you get these fans that are really intense about being right there with Brandon Lay, and man, they're doing all kinds of promoting for you. And I even saw one that did a 5 questions with you the other day.
Yeah, there's a group of people that have been like really loyal. I mean, they have turned up both sides of the country at the most random shows that they'll be there. And they kind of just took the initiative to start the Brandon Lay Fans Instagram page, and they're having fun with it. But yeah, I mean, we've been staying busy. My wife and I bought some property, bought some land. So I've been working on tractors and bulldozers and, bush hogs. So I've tried to keep people engaged in that kind of stuff when I'm not playing guitar.
The Jackson, Tennessee in you is still in you.
yeah, you can't shake it.
Once you're country, you're always country, right?
That's right. Well, the ironic thing is, Drew, I grew up in a subdivision, but I always wanted to live in the country. I mean, I always was a country kid, but I didn't ever grow up on a farm or anything. But I was always jealous of those kids that had farms.
So now you're like, I got my own dang farm.
That's right. So we're going to raise our kids on a farm.
That's awesome. So what all's been going on? You've been getting a lot of writing in.
I've got a little bit done. I've done more writing by myself than I have in a while. But I have done the Zoom thing. That's a little, I don't know. It's a little awkward, to be honest with you, but I have done it.
Yeah, those seem like they'd be kind of, are you really 100% into it when you're writing a song like that?
There's one in particular that I finished with my producer, Mikey, and Red Akins. We did a 3-way where we had already started the song, and all we had to do was finish it. And that was easy since we kind of already had a direction. But, starting from scratch it's always awkward anyway, especially like if your publisher sets you up with somebody you don't really know that well.
Oh yeah.
You always got to take that time in the room to kind of get to know them and stuff before you start throwing out ideas. And yeah, it's hard to do that over the phone.
When you get into a situation of writing a song, say you walk into the room for the first time and it's Red Akins and somebody else there, what's the process you guys go through? You know, from idea to concept.
You know, it usually falls on the artist to have the idea or the inspiration as it should. And also there's obviously a hierarchy to songwriters, and guys like Red Akins are great and I've been able to learn from them. They usually kind of take your ideas and try to run with it. And that's kind of, when you're a little fish right with a big fish, you better bring the bullets. So I always try to fill up my iPhone, whether that be in my notes section or voice memos if it's a melody, and I always just try to capture that. And most of the time I listen back and I'm like, why the hell did I find that inspirational?
Right,
but
right.
every now and then a diamond.
It makes me nervous just thinking about walking into the room with somebody as established writing songs as that. I can't imagine actually having to do it.
I definitely was nervous. Like Dave Lee Murphy and Red Akins, those guys, I grew up listening to them a lot, like a lot of people. And those kind of co-writes at first I was very nervous walking in the room, but they like doing a bunch of country stuff like I do. So there's a lot in common. So it didn't stay awkward long,
When you write the song, you record the song, and then you release the song and you put out a video for the song, the video part of a song seems to be kind of an interesting thing. Is that awkward for you?
It was, I wouldn't say awkward, but it was a new experience for sure. There was like 2 awkward moments shooting that video. We shot it in Pasadena, and we were trying to replicate like a Goodfellas meets Boogie Nights kind of feel. And I don't know if we nailed it or not, but we sure had a lot of fun shooting it.
I'll tell you that I was absolutely watching it earlier today, and I thought, man, that seems like a California party to me. Like that's one of those Hollywood parties where all the stars are kind of mingling around there, and it had a good vibe to it.
Well, thanks, man. That's what we're going for, and I've always kind of been mesmerized by California. I mean, being a kid from West Tennessee, that's kind of where all the dreams are happening, So especially Southern California and the whole. Obviously, I like a lot of music coming out of there. From the Jackson Browne to the Eagles, Linda Ronstadt and stuff, but also the Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and then not to mention Hollywood. So yeah, there's just a lot about that I find very inspirational.
So since you've been going around, you've been doing a lot of radio tours and obviously tours with Brantley and Kenny and all that. Have you got to spend a lot of time in LA to kind of get that vibe and feel it?
Yeah, luckily, Michael Levine and Go Country, they've been good to me as well as y'all down there. And we've been quite a bit, I'd say. And I always love it. I always have a good time out there. And I love going out there too when the weather's bad here in Tennessee. That's the best time to get out of town. So
listen, I'm from small town Illinois, so me coming out here was just like that. Your eyes are big around the saucers, and you're going places you see in the movies. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that really is.
Now, this song, For My Money, man, the vibe and the sound on this, it's different to me, and I loved it as soon as I started to hear it.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit of a novelty song. We wanted to write something fun that night. It was me and Andrew DeRoberts, and it was both our second write of the. I think we had both kind of had a long day with not so good. Neither one of us got a good song that day, and we were wanting to write something fun and just blow off a little steam. And he's really great at sounds in the track, and it just kind of had this deceptive mood to it. And musically, it kind of fell in like an Ocean's 11 type vibe, and we just kind of it's very like cinematic. One of the most cinematic songs I've ever written, and which made for a fun video.
It is. Now, did your wife, did she get in on it too?
No, she didn't. She didn't. She's holding her belly right now. She's 8 months pregnant. She's 9 months pregnant. So Yeah, yeah.
So you guys are.
There'll be time for her for sure.
That's great. That is awesome. Well, it's cool to see. You know, we've had you around out here quite a little bit, and throughout the
Yeah,
last couple of years, man, you've been doing a lot of writing, and you did Walk Away Joe, and I've jammed out to that version of that song. That just sounds so good.
thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we cut it at Blackbird, and I did want to try to, make it like hers because nobody could. And yeah, it was just an opportunity for an Amazon original, they call it, and they wanted me to cover something from the '90s, and I just went to. They actually threw out a few ideas that were a little just too on the nose. It would have been almost like karaoke if I would have tried to do it, and they were male songs, and I wanted to kind of just mix it up a little bit.
Well, you definitely, and you did it justice though. That's the thing about that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It means a lot.
Yeah. So, what do you got going on here in the next little bit? You are you able to get out at all now? Are you hitting any
I
places? And
I stay out all day working on the farm, and
oh,
as far as shows, I think like September would be kind of like August, September. I think is kind of the timeline for that. So I'm definitely itching to do some live stuff. We've done a lot of virtual stuff, but I've been in the studio a lot. My producer Mikey and me, we've both been tested for COVID, and we don't have it. So we've been spending a lot of time working on mixes and getting ready to release new music.
when you come out with music and you get it in your head and you're working with somebody like that, how hard is it for you to like put what's in your mind on a track?
That's that's the trick right there, Drew. I feel like that's harder than writing a song. Honestly, that's such a big gap to try to find that bridge from inception to the final track. There's a lot that can be left out if you're not careful. So I think that's kind of like finding that perfect wave as a surfer or something. That's kind of it's really hard to keep the magic through and through. And a lot of times we just go back to the work tapes, which we do on our voice memos at the end of the day when we write them. And those usually have the spirit of what the final product needs to be. And it's very easy for it to get out from under you because you go in and cut with these A-list musicians and they're all so good. And it turns out you have more music than you need. So it's almost like, what do we mute,
Right.
until we get the right stuff. So it's a challenge, no doubt.
But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, that's got to be one of the best feelings. I mean, other than knowing that you're going to have a child, I mean, that's got to be a pretty good creation there. But
Yeah, I mean, there's not that there's really any comparison, but these songs kind of are like your kids, and once you let them go, it's like sending them to college. They're not yours anymore; they're the world. So you definitely want them to be in their best light. And I once I put something out, I don't ever listen to it ever again. I listen to it nonstop in the mixing process and the engineering process, but then once we let it fly, I walk away.
well, you're a walk away Joe at that point, huh?
I'm a walk away Joe at that point. Yeah.
Have you ever written a song and had an artist in mind when you wrote it, and then was able to give it to that artist?
Yes, there was a song that I wrote back in 2000. I guess it was 2012, called Cadillac Seats, and we wrote it for Luke Bryan, and he loved it, and he was going to make it the next single. And mind you, I didn't have a publishing deal at the time. So when I found out how much Luke loved this song and was going to make it his next single, I was ecstatic. And because we kind of wrote it for him, and it turns out I think he went with Crash My Party instead, which was probably a good move for him. But
Right.
I got that call that hey, it's not going to make the project, that I think every songwriter's probably gotten, and it's like, well, cancel the boat. There it goes.
What's the one thing that you have on your mind that you want to buy? That like you've got your farm, you've got your bulldozer, you've got your tractor, but what is this next big item?
Um, It'd probably be a Mastercraft, a ski boat.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh, my wife's saying side by side.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
side by side. We need one really bad. So probably one of those 4-seater side by Polarises.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get one you can put your little baby buggy in.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna have to get one for sure. He loves to go on rides. My in-laws have golf carts, and he loves to go for a ride.
That's how many acres you have there?
About 50.
50. Oh, that's a nice little farm.
Yeah, it's.
I'd say little. I've got a half acre here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, you can. That's big enough to have a garden.
I got an inflatable pool.
Hey, there you go.
My redneck party cove.
Yeah, there you go. It's hot out there. I remember when we played on the front of the courthouse down there.
Yeah, in Hanford.
It was like 105, I think. That was a hot one.
Yeah, that one was. I think it was dead in the middle of summer when you were out here. So it definitely was toasty. That's for sure.
Yeah. Are y'all still in the? Y'all still have your? Is the old Buick dealership where you do have your performance center?
Yeah. Yep. That's.
I remember.
Yeah, because we had you in there before you were on the stage, I think, at Hanford, right?
Yes, that's right. That's the first time I met you guys out there. Was when we played that morning, I think.
Yeah, man, that's good and hard to believe it's been a few years at this point since that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been a blur, literally.
It really has, really has. Well, Brandon, man, we appreciate it. When can people expect new stuff?
We're actually looking to drop a new song just to throw out there called Crazy Like You. It's going to be coming out at the end of June. So really, really soon. We just wrapped up the mix yesterday, and I'm ready to send it to college.
And then it's over. Then it's done. You're done listening to it, right?
I'm done listening to it, but I hope I hear it on KJUG.
Absolutely, man. Well, man, you guys have a good luck with the new baby and the farm, and the baby's probably gonna be a lot more difficult than driving that bulldozer around.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's the real challenge there.
Awesome. Well, Brandon Lay, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.